welcome back to another video. This is Maria with the Simplified Bookkeeper, and I'm so excited to be here with you on our next video in this series. So if you've missed our earlier video, this is the second video of a 4-part series talking about e-commerce bookkeeping basics. And so if you haven't been able to watch that first video, we will link it here for you, where we cover just some basic terms around e-commerce bookkeeping, such as payment processors and sales channels. So if you're not familiar with those terms or you missed that video, go back, check it out, and then this one I promise will hopefully make a little bit more sense because you've seen video 1. So in this video, what we're going to talk about is how to choose the right accounting software for your e-commerce business. So I've got 4 points I want to cover with you today. We're going to talk about, of course, things to look for. So I've got a couple tips for you there. I'm going to give you 2 options for accounting software that you want to check out. I'm also going to talk about how do you get started, and then how long is it going to take you to set up this accounting software. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing we talked about, or we want to talk about, is, how do you pick an accounting software that's right for you? And I'm sure you've seen, if you've done any Google searching, that there's a lot of different apps out there for accounting, for small business accounting. You've probably seen QuickBooks, QuickBooks Online. Some other ones in the marketplace are Zoho Books. There's also going to be FreshBooks. There's Xero, that's Xero. So there's a lot of accounting softwares that you can choose from. And sometimes it's difficult, right, to make that choice, because as technology continues to expand, there's a lot of apps that kind of do the same thing. It's like, how do I make a decision about what to use? Well, here at my bookkeeping firm, we primarily use 2 accounting platforms, and I really like both of them. And they're QuickBooks Online, and we also use FreshBooks. And this is not going to be a video to go into all of the details and do a full comparison of those 2, but I'm going to give you a couple items basically about each one of them and why I recommend both of them, or that you take a look at both of them and make the decision for you. So the first one that we recommend is QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online is, in the US, it's the #1 cloud accounting software. It has a lot of features. It has a lot of functionality to it. It also has a lot of other apps that it integrates with. And so for me personally, that's not a huge thing, because sometimes we find that the integrations really cause more of an issue and we end up turning those off. That's a whole other conversation. But you are going to have some more apps that you are able to connect with through the QuickBooks App Store. And it's just a good, solid accounting platform. A lot of people, like bookkeeping firms and CPAs and accountants, know QuickBooks, and so it's pretty easy. If you need to find a professional, that there's a lot of people out there that know how to use the software. Now, one thing that's happened with Intuit, the company that owns QuickBooks, is they are expanding as a business, and so their costs have been increasing. And I've been watching that over the last year to year and a half. So the costs continue to go up. That would be a con to me. Also, I have some clients that have chosen to go away from QuickBooks because they just have so many features that they feel like they don't use, and they don't want to be paying for things that they're not using. So that would be QuickBooks as one option. The other option, which is a newer player in the space, is called FreshBooks. And FreshBooks has really, over the last year or so, just made huge strides in their development, and it's a very comparable platform to QuickBooks. It does have an app store. It's not going to be as fully featured as the QuickBooks app store would be, but again, like I've talked about before, just because there's an app or an integration doesn't mean you want to set that up. So, but FreshBooks has it's just a great value. It's a great value from the standpoint of, you get the features that you need, you're paying a fair price for those features, I believe, and also their support is awesome. I really, really like the FreshBooks team. I personally have a person at FreshBooks that I can call with any questions. I mean, it's just a really great atmosphere and a good culture they have in the company, and so I recommend both of them. There is a link that I've put in the description below where I'm doing like a full review of the FreshBooks software. So if you want to You also have a link there. You can try out my software, try out the FreshBooks software. You can certainly do that. But there's also a link if you want to just watch me kind of demo the software, and you don't have to sign up for a trial until you know, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. So I'll have links to all of that below for you. So what you're going to be looking for, pick a software that is simple for you to use. I think that both of these platforms are simple to use. I would say I think FreshBooks is a little bit simpler to use because there's not so much going on in there, but it has the things that you need. And just also be aware of the cost. Like I said, the cost for QuickBooks is going to be more than FreshBooks. You have to remember that, you know, as a business owner, you're not just paying for one app, right? You're not just paying for your accounting software. You're having to pay for a lot of other things. So just be aware of the cost. So we talked about those two options. Let's talk a little bit about the integrations. I just want to hit on that for a second. When you set up your accounting software, I recommend that you just not integrate the software with any other apps. You definitely want to set up your bank feed and your credit cards to be feeding into your accounting software, but I would stop there until you really understand the software. And I know we talked about that in the first video, but you want to just make sure that you understand what you've already purchased before you add on some bells and whistles and different things like that. So just be aware of that. We get some questions sometimes about, when do I start? Like I set up this new accounting software, when do I start entering the information? I would really tell you as soon as you can. And so it depends on when you're watching this video, but if you're close to the end of the year, you might just want to wait until the beginning of the next year and then to start using the software at that point. You also could go backwards if you want to. So maybe it's even towards the end of the year or the middle of the year. You can absolutely go back to the beginning of the current year that you're in and just add the transactions. So that's something that you can certainly do. And that's what we do, by the way, as well. So if you are looking for somebody to help you clean up your accounting or to set up what we're talking about here, definitely reach out to us, leave us a comment below, and we can get you some more details on how we can help you. The last thing I wanted to cover in this video is, how long will it take you to set this up? So let's say that you make the decision, you go with FreshBooks, let's say, for example, you want to go ahead and get this set up. I would set aside about 2 to 3 hours for you to get your accounting software set up completely. And so again, in the links below, we have a link to a course where we actually go through this with you, and we share with you the software, and we share with you all the things you want to do to get it set up. So that could be a resource to help you, but it's just going to take a little while. I believe that the time that you take up front to set everything up and also to learn it is going to pay you dividends as you continue to grow your business. Because we hear this from a lot of our clients, is just that as the business owner, a lot of times you just have to learn the bookkeeping part of it until you can get someone to do it for you like we do. But it's important, when, especially if you're just starting out, that you choose your accounting software and that you're able to learn the basics of how it works and how you create financial statements and how you enter invoices and all of that stuff, until you can get to a point where you can have someone on your team or a firm like us or someone that can help you with that. So I hope these tips were helpful on how to pick an accounting software. Again, there's a lot of options out there. I would love your comments. If you have had great luck with a different software that we didn't mention, I'd love to hear about that. And then anything else we can answer, please, again, send us a comment below, and we'll be more than happy to get back with you and maybe help you with your specific situation. So until next time, take care.